Good afternoon and welcome to our this week's Mayo High Nooners Toastmasters meeting. I'll be your Toastmaster for today. My name is Tanya and we have quite a lineup today. Today may be the funnest meeting of the month, though I don't want to let down next week's meeting or the meeting thereafter, but we have two icebreaker speeches. And as all of you know, icebreaker speeches are the most fun because we get to learn something about a whole new person we don't even know about yet. So I'm very excited about that. We also have some people doing new roles, so it's going to be a very exciting and interesting meeting. And I will try to keep us on task. In the beginning, I will try not to fustinate because sometimes I speak too quickly. So I'll try not to fustinate through my presentation. But I think that's all I have to say right now, so I would like to invite up our grammarian, Chris Nibby.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and guests. Thank you for joining us. I'm Chris. I am your ruggedly, yet not so elaborately coiffed grammarian for the day. I am charged with improving our grammar and our vocabulary. We're very close. It's festinate. Festinate. And when it is used as a verb, it means, and this is not me, this is, I have the IT issues. There's no space here. To hurry or to hasten. When it is used as an adjective, the pronunciation changes to festinate, which means hurry or hasten. Which will help to explain my sentence for the day. Festinate to the conclusion of your speech when you see the red light, but beware so that it doesn't sound festive. I will also try to capture what I consider picturesque speech and colorful language, as well as the dreaded ahs, ums, and those connectors.
Next, I would like to call up our novice timer, Ryan.
Toastmasters and our guests. Welcome. I'll try not to buzz at any inappropriate times. But essentially my role is to keep track or keep the meeting on time. As part of a learning for all of us, the goal is to be able to express a thought or some thoughts in a defined period of time. Hence the role of the timekeeper. And so when there's 2 minutes left, there'll be a light back there that'll be green. And when there's 1 minute left, you'll see yellow. And when time is up, you'll see red. And I think it's technically a buzz, but we'll see. We'll see here. So that's my role as timer.
Would you talk about table topics?
Oh yes. So table topics will be 1 minute, and this is a kind of an impromptu type of setting where speakers will have a chance to be able to speak off the cuff, so to speak, and we'll introduce our topic since you're coming. So
thank you very much. Thank you. Good job. Now I am very pleased to introduce, we have a humorous and inspirational speaker today, and his name is Greg, and welcome, Greg.
Greetings all. I'm currently listening to an audiobook about Teddy Roosevelt and some of the early years prior to his presidency. And I find him a very inspiring figure. And so what I pulled an article that he wrote for the Forum magazine titled True Americanism, and I'm going to read a brief excerpt from that for you. One thing I'd like you to keep in mind while I read this is he wrote it in talking about the country and America, but you could sub in Mayo Clinic for that, or today's America, for what he was talking about in 1894, 121 years ago. It's still very prescient today. We Americans have many grave problems to solve, many threatening evils to fight, and many deeds to do. If, as we hope and believe, we have the wisdom, the strength, the courage, and the virtue to do them. But we must face facts as they are. We must neither surrender ourselves to a foolish optimism nor succumb to an ignoble pessimism. Our nation is that one among all nations on the earth which holds in its hands the fate of the coming years. We enjoy exceptional advantages and are menaced by exceptional dangers. And all signs indicate that we shall either fail greatly or succeed greatly. I firmly believe that we shall succeed, but we must not foolishly blink the dangers by with which we are threatened, for that is the way to fail. On the contrary, we must soberly set to work to find out all we can about the existence and extent of every evil, must acknowledge it to be such, and must then attack it with unyielding resolution. There are many such evils, and each must be fought after a fashion. Yet there is one quality which we must bring to the solution of every problem. That is, an intense and fervid Americanism. We shall never be successful over the dangers that confront us. We shall never achieve true greatness, nor reach the lofty ideal which the founders and preservers of our mighty federal republic have set before us, unless we are Americans in heart and soul, in spirit and purpose, keenly alive to the responsibility implied in the very name of American, and proud beyond measure of the glorious privilege of bearing it.
Thank you, Greg. As you were reading Teddy Roosevelt for us, I was thinking, I was trying to put in Mayo in the American word, and it, very true. Thank you so much. Next, we have the beginning of our first icebreaker for the day. It's going to be by Haiwa, and she is giving her icebreaker. So we are all going to be very excited to learn more about Haiwa.
Thank you. Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmaster, and distinctive guest. I'm Haiwa Liu, work with Information Technology Department, support a manual scheduling system. I was born in China and moved to the United States many years ago. Now we call Rochester home. My husband and I have 2 daughters. The family enjoy outdoor activities. Rochester offers wonderful city trails. Our home sits next to the trail, so we liked all the opportunity we can walk, run, bike on the trail. The most enjoyable activity our family do is biking. One or 2 girls was young. We always get on a bike and bike on the trail, and we just enjoy the beautiful fall, summer, and spring. Along the trail, there's a section, have a long stretch of uphill. So that was our enemy. When the 2 girls were little, so they just always stop there and say, "Mom, I'm tired." So we just, okay, go ahead, turn back home. So one day, I thought, how could I encourage them to get over that hill? So I realized they're 5 minutes away from that hill. There's a Hy-Vee store. So I get an idea. The next time when we bike, right before we get to the hill, I told them, if we get over the hill, we're going to award with ice cream. So they said, ice cream? How could we get ice cream while biking? I said, you will see. So that day, we have no problem. And we got Hy-Vee store. So we got there, each of us pick up our favorite 1 cup, a single cup ice cream. We then turn back about 2 minutes biking along the trip. There's a picnic table. So it's along the Zombreda River. So we just sat down and resting and enjoy our ice cream and the beautiful Zombreda River. And we also could see the Rochester City building. So our family kept this tradition for many years. I called it biking ice cream trip. Recently, I walked along that trail and reached Hy-Vee. I said, why didn't I get ice cream? Why don't I get ice cream? So now I will start a new tradition. I call it walking ice cream trip. Our family also enjoy winter sport. So my husband and I are skier. Our 2 daughters doing snowboarding. So they think snowboard is more trendy, but I think ski is more classic. Now I enjoy working at the Mayo Clinic. I'm team lead. The main reason I joined Toastmaster, I'd like to to improve my public speaking and leadership skill. Thank you.
Timekeeper, may we please have 1 minute on the clock for evaluations? Now time to bring up our second speaker. He has been at Mayo Clinic for
6 years?
6 years, and he has previously been in Iraq, and I'm his mentor, and I'm proud to introduce Derek. He's giving his first icebreaker, and it's called Weddings
Story.
Wedding Story. Please welcome Derek.
I have 2 wedding anniversaries. I've never been divorced, never separated. No, I'm not a polygamist. My anniversaries are with the same woman. Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and guests, today I give you my wedding's story. In the summer of 2005, I was a 24-year-old sophomore attending Winona State. Fresh off a 4-year stint in the U.S. Army, I was enjoying my recently found freedom and using my GI Bill to attend school. I was madly in love with my girlfriend of 6 months, Susan. She was the most beautiful, smartest girl I had ever met. My life was great. When on August 25th, I received a knock on the door. A hand-delivered letter, signature required. Paquin, Derek John, you are ordered to active duty. Report September 9th. Active duty, period, 545 days. Purpose, Iraqi freedom. Now when you receive a letter like this, your life changes in an instant. Classes, parties, they no longer matter. It's time to take care of business. For me, I knew what that meant. I knew that I wanted to be with Susan forever. So on August 31st, I met Susan at Silver Lake Park. As the sun went down, I walked her to the cobblestone bridge, where I got down on one knee, and I asked her to marry me. She said yes. She felt the same way as I did. She wanted to be together forever. Now, we knew that we wanted to be married before I left, because we wanted our marriage to help us get us through. It didn't matter whether I came back. It didn't matter whether I came back the same person. But we didn't have a lot of time. We only had 2 weeks, so we had to festinate. So, without a lot of time, we decided to elope. We would tell our family that we were engaged when we'd actually have been married, and we'd have our wedding when we came back. So on August 31st, we had an appointment with Winona County Clerk. It was a Friday. Susan had to work that day. She had to ask her coworkers to take over for her so she could make it in time. For us, this was a formality. It wasn't the actual ceremony. So she came in her work clothes. I went in jeans and a t-shirt. We went to the courthouse, just expecting to sign paperwork. So we laughed as the clerk brought us back to the courtroom. What a perfect place to solidify our love. The same place that they convict criminals. So as we were just expecting to sign the paperwork, we were surprised when the clerk decided to do a small ceremony. The minute she started reading a poem about love, Susan broke out in all-out laughter throughout the entire 15-minute ceremony. 5 days later at the La Crosse airport, we said goodbye for 1.5 years. But we had our love, we had our marriage, we had our letters, we had our Skype calls, and we made it through. Now there's one lesson I did learn. You cannot marry a girl and expect her to keep it secret for 1.5 years. Within the first week, her mom knew. She had that mom sense. So she had some drama, some things to sort out. Lucky for me, I was on the other side of the world. Almost exactly 3 years later, on Labor Day, we had our wedding ceremony with our family and friends. We had made it through. That wedding requires another speech within itself. So what are the advantages of having 2 wedding anniversaries? To be honest, in those first 5 to 7 years when we were learning to be married, often September 2nd would roll around and we'd just have a reminder, oh my goodness, it's our 1 anniversary today. We'd have a couple days to prepare for the 2nd. But lately, as our love has grown and our family has grown, we have an 18-month-old son. Now, we have 2 days a year that we get to celebrate our love, and 2 days a year to remember our story.
Timer, may I please have 1 minute on the clock? At this point, we'll bring up our topic master, Amy.
So I've arrived at our meeting just in time to fulfill my role. So I'm really saddened that I missed our first icebreaker speech, and yet I'm very thankful to have seen the end of Derek's. I love icebreaker speeches. I'd like to kick us off in the table topics for one of our more experienced Toastmasters to come and tell us about their icebreaker speech. What was that experience like for you? That first day, that first time you were up there. I haven't looked at the roles to know who's got what going on, but with that question in mind, do I have a volunteer? Abby, come on up.
My first experience as a Toastmaster was kind of unusual in that I had never actually visited a Toastmasters meeting. So I didn't know what to expect. I wasn't used to speaking in front of huge audiences, making eye contact with people, using words of the day. I was just shaking and nervous, and I just made it up to the stage. I was just happy to get there. I had prepared and practiced my speech over and over again in my head, said it out loud to myself several nights. When I got there, my mind was mush. It was just a blank. And I really pushed myself. No notes, no nothing. So, like any impromptu speaker does, I came up with a new speech. I used my practice speech another time when I wasn't so nervous. But it was more about calming yourself, controlling your hands and your nerves, and just breathing. And then relaxing. And once you're relaxed, you realize everybody here in the room is doing the same thing I'm doing. And it all got better. And then I could look at you and talk to you. I could tell you what I was thinking. And the bush just kind of dissolved. And here I am.
As a Toastmaster, that's something that all of us remember. That very first speech, I think it's the toughest one. Get up here and get over some of that nervousness. It's not easy. If we fascinate, can we get a section? Can we get a section? Okay.
Two more.
Two more. Okay, fall routines are on my mind. And I remember in our last meeting, I hadn't thought about the aspect of someone living in California and not experiencing the drastic changes of seasons that we have here in Minnesota. So I wanted to ask someone to come up and share maybe something about some of your fall routines. I have to switch out my closet because I can't wear a bright orange sweater when it's spring and summer. It only makes sense in the fall. Is there a fall routine that you'd like to share with us? And again, I'll ask for volunteer. John, come
I have to estimate and come up with something more clear. A fall routine is putting the garden to bed, cleaning all the furniture away. It's a sad day because realize the winter is coming. It always seems, and I'm going through this right now, our neighbors have a tree that's 60 feet tall and it does not drop, so everything else is done. We braked our yard, I think, 3 times already this year. And it always happens, there's a south wind when it decides to drop. So guess what? All the leaves are But, the fun part is, we'll break it all up, make a huge pile in the garden, and I can get a fire. I'll start it. And have pictures of my wife and I standing, the flames are going about 6 feet tall. And it's a beautiful scene as the sun sets and the fire going, and we'll see deer coming across. And that part of the fall I enjoy. And that's one of our rituals of the fall, is burning, raking and burning the leaves.
Across, fantastic breakfast. Where do you go here in town or again relatively nearby to have a great breakfast? Come on up.
in the Rochester area is in my kitchen. We get up when we have the kids, all 4 of them every other week. So my kids go with their dad and every other week. And so when they're there, we get all the whole family together, and I'll make maybe eggs or pancakes or French toast. That's about it though, because I'm not very creative. But I make really good things of those. And we have hash browns and some sort of breakfast meat, lots and lots of breakfast meat, 4 boys, lots of breakfast meat. And we sit around the table, we adults drink our coffee, and the kids talk about Minecraft. And it's just a lovely morning at home, having breakfast.
On that warm and cozy thought, I will turn it back to our Toastmaster.
Thank you very much. Now, our speakers of the day are just waiting on their edge of their seats, waiting to hear their evaluations. So without further ado, I will bring out our general evaluator, John, to get that important part of our meeting started.
Thank you, Madam Toastmasters, fellow Toastmasters and guests. I will fascinate so I don't say and so and yeah and whatever else I'm not supposed to say. But this is an important part. And our first evaluation is Shelley E. He's going to give an evaluation. Please open up, Shelley.
What a wonderful icebreaker speech. Congratulations. I have a few things I can share with you today. I'm relatively new to the group as well, so still learning how to go through that evaluation process. But I felt your icebreaker speech was very well done. You were very calm as you got up here in front of the group, and that is definitely something to feel good about. I know it's not easy to stand in front of the group and talk about yourself, so you did a wonderful job with that. You had hand gestures that really added to your speech. They weren't large and distracting, but they were very, you kept your hands close to your body, and it did help add value to the talk that you were giving today. Your stories were wonderful. I applaud you for your use of humor. You clearly were able to engage with the audience during the process of your icebreaker speech. People were laughing and really paying attention to what you were saying, so congratulations on that aspect as well. You do have a fairly quiet voice, so something to think about for the future is to really think about your volume. So think about how loud am I speaking, how is my voice carrying through the room, but you had a very, very nice tone and very good sound, so I think the audience was really engaged with you, so it might be just something to be conscious of in the future, that voice, that volume piece. No notes, amazing. That almost deserves a round of applause in itself. And congratulations once again on your use of humor, it was very engaging. Thank you.
Thank you, Shelley. And next we'll have Amit give his evaluation of Derek's speech.
Mr. General Evaluator, Madam Toastmaster, and most important, Derek and our fellow Toastmasters. It was hard to see that this is your icebreaker speech. I mean, you started without notes. You gave us all the instincts which maybe a Toastmaster gets to the level in the 5th or 6th speech. You had a terrific hook, which you got our attention right away about your 2 marriage anniversaries. I said, this guy's hiding something. You said that. But you also have a great humorous way of saying humor without much facial expression. You just drop it. So that's an amazing quality you already have, and you take our brain going to one direction and suddenly drop it. So that's great. Then we got to know you, your service to the country, and all the difficulties which we thought somebody else is going on, and now we have a Toastmaster who went through this experience themselves. So you have that. Having been to several contests and having won few of them, this is a contest level talk, both the human talk as well as inspiration. You did great till you talked about your mother-in-law, knowing about it. You went great beyond that. Towards the end, you quieted down a bit and you relied on your memory, your muscle memory. I would say in that kind of situation when we have, just go with the flow. None of us know it's better than you. You mentioned about it. I got a bit confused about the 2 dates where you have to remember, and a date before preparation and other things, but finally clarified. But this story has several subplots, which I hope you build on in the subsequent stories, which is your experience in Iraq and what you did, and the letters you got, and one of those letters was a bit naughty. You can share with us.
Yeah.
All of us have done lots of naughty things. So we up it. But I am so amazed at the quality. I mentioned about this with Tanya about 6 months ago, about the recent quality of Toastmasters which we had. It started with John leading the race. You guys are amazing, and I'm thinking of our district level contest and competitions. You're going to give us a lot. So practice, practice, practice. Do it more. Do it frequent. I don't expect your second speech to come 6 minutes late, 6 months later. That would not be a Toastmasters thing. So be ready with your second speech. Keep it in the pocket. If somebody cancels, jump onto it. Because you are a very experienced speaker to start with. It will die if you don't keep up with it. You can really advance, be a powerful speaker if you keep up with it. And so all of us who have done this for a while, we have realized practice makes perfect. So great start, great transitions, ending. I don't wish you have 2 marriages, but be happy. You see, I see Middle Eastern patients who are married 4 times. So.
I always enjoy the evaluation parts and seeing what people pick up and what suggestions that they have and what they think works and what they think that don't work. So now we're going on to the premiering report. We'll have Chris come up. I am not daring enough to try the word fascinate. I want to say with fascinate, so welcome up, Chris.
Well, you weren't very festive with your retreat from the stage, so that helps everybody understand the use. I do have fun finding these words. And just a little full disclosure, there's a little backdoor competition between Stacy and I for getting some good words of the day. We're not sure who's winning.
I know who's winning.
Maybe we can start evaluating the word of the day.
Please do.
Clearly.
Tanya, I applaud that. So we had at least half of our speakers use the word of the day. John, you were, as usual, the overachiever. Tanya, way to use it before the introduction and fairly properly as well. As far as some good speech, you opened it up good, Greg, with prescient.
Yeah.
I like that word. That is a fun word that should be used more often, much like festival. You only had a couple ahs and and another little double take while you're trying to refine your spot before you do a recital. So, good job on that. Iowa, I love your literal inclusion of the uphill battle. That was fun. And another one is to literally get over the hill. I was really impressed by the use of that in your speech. Only one I did not hear any of the typical connectors that many of us more experienced still struggle with. Same for Derek in your speech. I only heard a single soul. I do love the fact that your love was solidified in the same place that they convict criminals. Everything's a double use, yeah. Multi-use room. Yeah. Abby, when you were given your table topic, I have a very active mind, and when you said your mush dissolved, it just invoked an even worse scenario. So I just want to let you know, yes, your mush dissolved. There was a very zombie-esque picture that went into my head, but it still made me giggle. Amy, when she was introducing, she had a couple ahs and a so. And then John, I like another turn of a typical phrase of, instead of a garden bed, you're putting your garden to bed. I thought that was kind of neat. And Andy, a lot better use of the pauses, of a great reduction in the ums. And a lot of us understand the grandmother-granddaughter concept, so thank you for including that. And Stacy, I understand breakfast needs going on Saturdays. You did have one each of an and. Shelley, only a single very good. Amit, of course, nothing. But it makes me wonder about your suspicious mind when you were wondering what this guy's hiding with all. And also, naughty letters, really? Some things need to be kept private.
Thank you, Chris. And next we'll have Brian come up and do our timers report.
Thank you. So we'll start off with our speakers. Iowa. Say that right? So a target time of 3 to 5 minutes, which you looking at 3 minutes and 52 seconds with your icebreaker speaks. Derek, weddings story, a target time of 5 to 7 minutes, and at 4 minutes and 54 seconds. I think technically that icebreaker speech is 3 to 5 anyway, so you're right on the money there. You're right on the money there. With regards to our evaluators, Shelley evaluated Iowa, and our target times for our evaluators are 2 to 3 minutes. Our time is 1 minute and 25 seconds. Dr. Ghosh evaluated Derek, 2 to 3 minutes. Again, is our target time, 3 minutes exactly. With regards to our table topics, Abby, the icebreaker experience. These target times are 1 to 2 minutes. It was 1 minute and 13 seconds. John with fall routines was 1 minute and 25 seconds. Andrew with day trips was 1 minute and 51 seconds. And Stacy with breakfast was 57 seconds. I believe that's all.
Thank you, Ryan. I think we had a very good meeting with the evaluators. I enjoyed all the different cultural languages. And Amy, I enjoyed your topics, and I could picture the breaking of the leaves. I know that story. But I hope we all can learn from the different evaluations and what people have done. And I think the icebreaker speeches work great. So please continue and keep them going. Thank you.
So this concludes our meeting unless we have announcements. We have announcements, okay.
Please be with Joe Sharp. He's going for the TED pitch today at 7 o'clock at Goonies Park.
At Goonies, so can we go there and watch, or no, it's private?
You have to
So we have to
break
pray for
somebody's
him.
arm.
Okay, so he's auditioning for the TED Talk, the TEDx Talks, right?
Yeah, there are
At Goonies
150
tonight.
seats and they're all gone. And
Oh, that's it, so
but
we
at
can't tell us
6:45 you'll find out. You can be there at 6:45. If somebody doesn't show up, we'll
Okay.
open up the seats. So
All right,
I plan to be there.
okay, good.
Yeah.
Chris, would you like to come up?
My only addition. Sure. Do you have the rosters? Ready?
Oh, I did not recall.
All right, then I can include
Okay.
that for. With the Thanksgiving holiday, it is a short month for speeches, and I will read off the next 2 weeks. I'm not sure if right now on our schedule, we have DeGanta for the next week's Toastmaster, but since he was last week's Toastmaster, I don't know if Deanna is going to switch it up. Greg, you are the grammarian for next week. I look forward for your wordsmithing. Andy, you are the timer. Deanna will be the humor and inspiration. Ryan is going to be speaker number 1. John Potter is speaker number 2. Topic master will be Sarah Jenkins. You get to be the general evaluator. Abby will be evaluator number 1 for next week. And Kaylee will be evaluator number 2. The following week, November 18th, John Potter will be Toastmaster. Kaylee will be grammarian. Derek, you will be timer. Stacy will be the humor and inspiration. I will be speaker number 1. Shelley will be speaker number 2. Joe will be topic master. Amy will be general evaluator for 18th. Sarah Jenkins will be evaluator number 1, and Tanya, you will be evaluator number 2. After that, enjoy the turkey.
With that, everybody, we started almost on time, and we are definitely ending on time. And I was very inspired by all the speeches, and I am a little jealous that you guys' inspirational, your icebreaker speech was way better than mine. You didn't rush, you didn't do anything that the typical icebreaker does. You were like seasoned pros at a Toastmasters competition. And I'm so impressed. I'm so happy that I'm your mentor because I'm taking all the credit. It was all and whoever your mentor is, good job for them. Abby, oh, by the way, just so fun. Such great use of words and stories. I just can't wait to hear the next. I'm just looking forward to everybody's speeches. I just can't wait to see more. Keep it up. Great job. Oh, yes, timer.
Just one thought. So, Shelley, I think we swapped. Not that it matters to everyone, but do we?
We did spot.
We swapped. So
Okay.
as far as speeches, I don't know if
Okay,
that's
so
terribly
Deanna
important,
will,
but
oh, yeah. Thank
Yeah.
you so much for that. And everybody have a great week. We'll see you next week.